Welcome, cosmic explorers, to Vetted Shorts, your trusted archive for deep dives into the fantastical, the mysterious, and the downright mind-bending corners of science fiction lore. Today, we're opening the shadowed, enigmatic dossier of one of science fiction's most iconic alien races, the Vorlon from Babylon 5. If you've ever wondered about the true nature of these energy beings, why they conceal themselves, or if their motives are for the greater good, or something disturbingly self-serving, strap in. This dossier is about to challenge everything you thought you knew about interstellar guardians. Let's begin at the surface, quite literally. The Vorlons are first and foremost famous for the suits they never remove. These imposing encounter suits serve a dual purpose. They allow the Vorlons to survive in environments incompatible with their true nature, and more intriguingly, they shroud their real forms in mystery. For decades in universe and seasons in the real world, even the most inquisitive minds on Babylon 5 are left guessing. Unlike many other species who wear uniforms or armor for war, the Vorlon encounter suit is a kind of mobile containment vessel. Its opacity is more than physical, it's psychological. A statement that you are not ready to perceive what we are. And that alone makes everyone, from ambassadors to viewers, both nervous and curious. Let's dive beneath the armor. Who or what are the Vorlons really? Well, here's your first twist. They are not simply biological beings. When the suit cracks open, what emerges is light, color, seeming energy itself. A being of radiant luminescence that takes on shapes based upon the observer's own cultural expectations. That's right. The Vorlon encounter suit is not only hiding their physical form, but concealing the reality that their appearance isn't fixed at all. Instead, those who glimpse a Vorlon in its natural state see a being that matches their own myths and legends of messengers or divine guardians. What might be an angel to a human is something entirely different and equally venerated for another species. In this, the Vorlon become the ultimate cosmic Rorschach test. Their influence isn't simply technological, it's psychological, even spiritual, which brings us to their primary archetype, the energy being guardian. Throughout Babylon 5's timeline, the Vorlons present themselves as protectors, watchers, and sometimes manipulators of the younger races in the galaxy. They, along with their ancient antagonists, the Shadows, are the last of the legendary First Ones. Their agenda? Order, or at least their particular version of it. But let's not sugarcoat it. The way the Vorlons pursue order is not always benevolent. In fact, it can be manipulative, bordering on authoritarian. Through subtle, long-term manipulation, they nudge civilizations towards behaviors they deem beneficial, even if it means installing pseudo-religious awe around themselves. In essence, wherever you find signs of deity worship or angelic beings in alien cultures, there's a whisper of Vorlon involvement. What's more, this influence is just the tip of the iceberg. To understand the Vorlon's motives, we must look back millions of years. The Vorlon, alongside the Shadows, shepherded the younger races, shaping their evolution and nudging them down sharply divergent paths. Vorlons advocate for obedience, hierarchy, and order. Their message to all, who are you? A question meant to force introspection, conformity, and ultimately unity under their ideology. You might be asking, do the Vorlons really believe they are helping? The answer is complicated. The Vorlons see themselves as cosmic guardians, necessary to guide civilization towards enlightened, ordered growth. Yet the methods they employ, covert genetic engineering, overt propaganda, and even direct intervention, are deeply controversial. Let's not forget the unforgettable moment when a Vorlon encounter suit is breached, and we witness the sheer power and unpredictability of their raw energy form. This energy is not just light, it can disrupt technology, sway consciousness, and even inflict mortal harm on a whim. What's equally fascinating is how the Vorlons evangelize their agenda invisibly, carefully weaving themselves into the mythology and spiritual hierarchies of burgeoning cultures. Many civilizations revere them as gods, angels, or celestial overseers, without ever realizing they're part of a grand, orchestrated experiment. In contrast, the Shadows, ancient enemies of the Vorlon, promote chaos, conflict, and struggle, arguing that only adversity can birth strength and innovation. This dualistic manipulation forms the backbone of Babylon 5's deepest philosophical conflicts. Yet the ultimate twist is that both the Vorlons and Shadows eventually grow blind to the needs and agency of the younger races. In fighting for order, the Vorlons risk becoming tyrants, and the shadows in pursuing chaos risk annihilation. But let's zoom in further on the Vorlons themselves. How do they communicate? Rarely, and often cryptically. Their most famous representative, Ambassador Kosh, speaks almost entirely through riddles and parables. The avalanche has already started. It is too late for the pebbles to vote. It's both profound and frustrating, leaving those around them to interpret their meaning, sometimes with dangerous consequences. This penchant for cryptic communication is intentional. It fosters dependence, mystery, and reverence. It's less about helping others discover truths and more about compelling them to ask the questions the Vorlons want. To the Vorlons, knowledge is a tool used to control and uplift, yes, but also to withhold, suppress, and, when necessary, destroy. When opposition arises, they do not hesitate to intervene militarily. Let's talk technology. Vorlon ships are bioorganic, sleek, and radiate raw power, with weapon systems capable of erasing entire fleets. If regular spacefaring races wield clubs and spears, the Vorlons possess lightsabers, and they are everywhere, watching, judging, quietly enforcing their vision of galactic harmony. But their presence isn't just physical. The psychological weight of the Vorlon name bends the politics of the galaxy. Allies and enemies alike fear and respect them, not always knowing where they stand, or if their seemingly benevolent actions mask a deeper, unspoken agenda. Now here's a deeper twist. The Vorlons' interference is so deeply rooted that some species' very DNA bears the mark of their manipulations. The Minbari, for example, share an ancient connection, spiritual and biological, with the Vorlon. And the religious reverence is not accidental. The Vorlons intentionally present themselves as objects of worship, reinforcing their status as guardians, but also tightening their unseen grip. At this point, you might be thinking, if the Vorlon are so powerful, so advanced, why bother with secrecy and subtlety at all? The answer lies in their legacy contest with the shadows. Each stands as the apex manipulator of their philosophy, but open conflict risks everything, so their battle takes place behind veils, through proxies, and over millennia. But as the series unfolds, a shocking development shakes the foundations of both Shadow and Vorlon ambition. The younger races rebel. Babylon 5, under Captain Sheridan's leadership, forges unity across diverse species and challenges the right of either ancient race to dictate the course of history. And here's an unexpected turn. Faced by this coalition, the Vorlon find themselves forced to reassess. For perhaps the first time in a million years, something surprises them: the independence and maturity of those they tried to guide. In the climactic moments, the creators of order and the sowers of chaos are both given an ultimatum: leave or be made irrelevant. And in a rare, almost emotional moment, the Vorlon acquiesce. They withdraw, leaving the tapestry of galactic destiny in the hands of those who had been, only yesterday, their wards. This act signals more than just a physical retreat. It's the acknowledgement that, despite all their intelligence and power, the Vorlon no longer have all the answers. True order, it turns out, cannot exist without freedom and growth. The guardian must let go, or risk becoming the jailer. So what does this mean for the galaxy? The older race is gone, the shadows of manipulation and unseen meddling begin to lift. Now the younger races must face their destinies without a net. For better or worse, the age of guardians is at an end. But echoes of the Vorlons remain, in myths, in DNA, and in the enduring question: is there ever a right way to guide another's destiny? The story of the Vorlons isn't one of evil or benevolence, but of the complex, often uncomfortable reality that comes with wielding absolute power. Their legacy is a lesson, a warning, and perhaps a hope that true guardianship means empowering others, not binding them to your will. As with all great science fiction, the Vorlons from Babylon 5 force us to question more than alien agendas. They invite us to consider our own histories of power, belief, and independence. Who are our guardians? Who shapes our myths? And how do we know when it's time to step out of the shadow or the light and make our own choices? If you've made it this far, you now have a deeper understanding of the enigmatic Vorlon. Beings of light who may not be as angelic as they seem. Their shining forms, radiant behind armored shells, are fraught with as much danger as promise. Their legacy will echo in every civilization faced with the question, to guide or to set free. Their departure doesn't close their dossier. It opens a new chapter for the galaxy and for us as viewers. What will the children of light and shadow become now that the guardians have left the garden? But let's not forget, the Vorlons are not just characters. They're an allegory for the unseen hands that shape every society, every mythos, and even our most private beliefs. Now we turn the question to you, fellow explorers. What do you think? Were the Vorlons right to guide the younger races, or did they overstep? Which science fiction civilization should we probe next? And what ancient secrets might they hide? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Did the Vorlons' quest for order make them saviors or jailers? And if these energy beings were to visit our world, would we recognize them for what they are? Share your theories, your critiques, and your favorite Vorlon moments. We're just getting started on this cosmic journey, and your voice helps guide our next adventure. Don't forget to subscribe to Vetted Shorts for more in-depth dossiers on the weirdest, wildest, and most thought-provoking aliens in science fiction mythology. Until next time, keep looking up, keep questioning, and remember, the truth is always stranger and more radiant than you think.